Oh. Heaven Sent, penultimate episode of Series 9 of Doctor Who. Holy crap. I love this thing from the word go. I love that the Doctor's completely on his own. I don't remember ever seeing an episode where the Doctor was completely on his own. I'm sure somebody who's slightly more versed in everything that has ever been done with Doctor Who will correct me if that's the case, but I've certainly never seen that before. To just have the laser focus on him, because the Doctor is pretty much always the most interesting thing going on in his stories, and sometimes he's a bigger part of the screen time, sometimes he's a smaller part of the screen time, but I always want more time with the Doctor, and this is every second is with the Doctor. I love this. I love how he's just behaving in a way that we've never really quite seen before, and getting a little bit of insight into his thought process and the way that in sort of his mind he freezes time as he tries to think his way out of a situation where he should die, but he's like, no, I know I survived this, now let's figure out how. I thought the nods to Clara were nice. They were actually more moving to me than her actual death was last episode. And I praise the way that they handled that, but it was a little cheesy when the actual moment came. This, showing the impact of it, the weight of it, the little callbacks, when she finally showed her face, because I didn't think that was actually going to happen in this episode, it was touching, it was moving, it worked. I love the mystery around this thing. I just love how you're watching it going, what is going on? And I want to know, but I was kind of afraid to find out the answers, because the best mysteries, the answers are almost never as good as what the mystery sort of built it up in your head to be. This worked because it knew the right things to still keep mysterious. Like that creature, whatever it was, I mean, it was from his nightmares. We got that reference, but we never get a clear look at it. Thank God, but it's this creepy, it doesn't stop, it keeps coming. We get its view on the screens, the flies. The fact that ultimately we find out it's his confession dial, and that's how he gets his confessions from it. Oh my God! And it's one of the things that I always love about Doctor Who is that he is smarter than me. He is always supposed to be smarter than me. And then realizing slowly during that ending montage, realizing what it was he was actually doing. Because when that montage starts, you think, well, he's just trapped forever. And this is his hell. He's never going to get out of it. And you think he's kind of resigned himself to that. And then as he gets like a word or two further into that story each time, and I realize what it was he was doing, I had the biggest grin. I choked up. That was an amazing moment to realize what it was he was actually doing, and that it went from just it feeling like such a defeat, like he was just doing it because there was nothing else for him to do and he can't allow himself to stop, to realizing he had a plan and that it was working and it was going the whole time. Oh wow. I know I've just been gushing about this episode. This is a fantastic episode, and like the few points that I thought I was ahead of the thing, like I pretty much realized that as soon as he put on his own clothes and put the ones that he had that were wet back in the same position, I'm like, there's gonna be a loop feature into this. So that for a second made me think I was ahead of the episode, but clearly when we got to the end, I wasn't, and I was so happy to realize I wasn't. Like there really isn't a beat in this thing that I would change. It is so masterfully, fantastically executed. This is a one-of-a-kind episode. Like the only thing I'm nervous about has nothing to do with this episode, but just where do we go from here? Because where it picks up, I don't know if I've actually said it in this channel or any of these videos before. Like, I like the idea of him pursuing Gallifrey kind of endlessly. I'm not sure I ever want to see him actually find it. It looks like maybe now he has. Now, that said, that's still a great capper on this episode. It does make me nervous for how do we pick up in the next episode and have it live up to what we just got with this. I'm going to make my own call that Rassilon is behind this. I'm saying that partially, hopefully, I would really love to see Timothy Dalton come back, but we will see. And this sort of answer that we got for the hybrid, which basically that the prophecy is wrong, actually kind of takes the curse off the whole thing for me a bit. I've brought it up a couple times that I didn't like the whole idea just because I don't like prophecies. I think they're a very lazy storytelling device. Basically to realize, well, no, it was wrong in the first place. Actually, for me, love it. That fixes so many of the lingering things that were bugging me across the season up to this point. Seriously, guys, this episode is amazing. Easily now my favorite episode of this particular series. Definitely probably makes a top 10 of my favorite episodes for New Era Doctor Who altogether. So, you know what? let's just go with that. What is your personal favorite number one Doctor Who episode? You can even reach back into the classic era if that's your favorite stuff. So what is your all-time number one? I'm not saying this episode necessarily was, but I am coming off such a high having finished this. Right at this moment, I would say it's in contention. So whatever is yours, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Until next time, this council is adjourned.